Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tony's Temple. I'm your host, Tony. Today we have Nick and we also have Andrew, our new guest.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
Both very good friends of mine. Okay, just to boot off the conversation for everybody, I recently picked up this book, The 12 Rules of Life.
Jesus Christ.
By Jordan Peterson. What you gotta say, bro?
I just picked up 12 Rules for Life, and I'm 2 pages through the introduction, but it's really good so far.
Hey man, I gotta flex, man. That's 2 more pages than everyone else, alright? I'm just
I
saying.
think it's going to be a really good book.
So far it is, but Nick, you're right. He does ramble a lot.
Yeah.
He talks about one thing, all of a sudden he switches to something else. But then there are other times where he's like staying focused onto like.
Tell us how far you were into the book. Be honest.
There was like an excerpt. There was like 13 pages of excerpt, and then like I'm 15, 20 pages in, and this book is thick. There's a lot of like. It's a thick.
I struggled getting
Are
through
you
it.
through the first chapter?
I'm actually on the first chapter.
Okay, have you finished the first chapter?
I'm on the first chapter.
Have you finished the first chapter?
I have not finished
okay,
the first
so
chapter.
why are you talking about this
Bro,
book
because
right
it's
now?
big, man. Dude, it's worth talking about, man. Dude, there's
Do
a
you think
lot
that
of,
just
like,
because you read that you're special?
Well, I am special. My mama told me I was special, but
You know I can't read. Is that why are you trying to flex right now?
I gotta show you. I gotta show you how to read, man.
What was the first rule? I don't remember.
Stand up straight with your chest forward or something like that, or yeah,
Right.
And within the first chapter, he was talking about the lobster, and I wanted to bring this up on today's topic. It's just something that was on my mind. But long story short, he was using lobsters as a metaphor and using it as an example how it relates to us. And one of the example that he said that like lobsters tend to do is male lobster, they tend to like fight with one another, right? And like what they do is like they flip each other over because whenever they're on their stomach, they're more exposed. So like that's how they like get the other smaller lobster. But the important thing is whenever these lobsters get into a fight and the one that wins, it produces more serotonin, right, in its head. And it makes it more confident. It makes it like stand bigger. It makes it like, big and buff. It makes it look more confident. It makes it more aggressive and stuff. And for the ones that loses the battle, they produces octopamine. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Octopamine?
Probably not, but go ahead.
Yeah, close enough. But the point is, with the octopamine, it makes the smaller lobster, they curl up. They become like defensive. They take less risk. And like if they keep on battling and they have a track record of losing, you don't expect them to win. So they kind of succumb to like this whole mentality of like they're not good enough in a sense. You kind of see the similarity, like how lobster deal with that stuff.
What does this have
like,
to do with standing up straight? I'm very confused right now.
Well, the point is, like, no matter where you are in life, like, you have to be like the winning lobster, where you're able to stand up straight, and like nonverbals, where you can tell if someone is sad just by like the way they sit. If someone's in a huddle, you don't
Body
assume that this
language,
person is
yeah.
happy. Yeah. So same thing. So when he was talking about the lobster, like the one that wins tend to have more confidence. They tend to stand straight, bigger,
So
there's a lot of positive effects from that.
Do you know kind of the controversy with Jordan Peterson and lobsters?
He got into a debate with the lady, and she was kind of like just mocking him. He's saying like, "Oh,
Yeah.
are you saying that human beings are lobsters? Is that what you're saying?"
Well, yeah. So yeah, the lobster thing's kind of a meme at this point. I don't know if I read the book too, and I definitely didn't think he was using it as a meme example. It was like an actual legit. He was trying to bring it back. So I think he had another book, the 10 rules.
No. The something about the way of something. I can
Yeah,
pull
it was
right
basically
now.
like rules of life,
Right.
right? And he made this book. Kind of like a revised version of that, or maybe added. I don't know, changed. I didn't read the first book.
Maps of meaning. Is what
That's
he
it.
wrote.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know the lobster thing was like kind of a meme, and that was the first chapter. So it's starting to kind of come back now that
Right.
you're
So
talking about it.
and the thing is, it wasn't meant to be a meme. He was saying that like we all come from a similar point of life in a sense. Like how bats have like 5 bones, and then like all the other animals have like similar bone structure like we are. And he was saying that the brain, the neurological path of like the lobster is similar to how we operate, and like we live in this world where that's. I hate to say this, but we live in society. This is how it was built. Like life would not work if it's like working the other way around, where like the losing lobster is winning in life. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense. It's
What?
really fucking dumb.
I mean, you need to learn to read
I don't-
first before you say anything, bro.
Dr. Kermit over here, I don't fucking trust him. Well, guys, you need to stand up straight.
Yeah, it is
a
weird
lobster.
for him to bring biology into it.
But it makes sense though.
It makes sense. and I couldn't tell if he was treating it more as like, use it as like an anecdote, or if he's like being serious and being like, no, like this is like a 1-to-1 type of similarity. This is why things look this way.
The thing is, it didn't take up the whole entire chapter. Like it was brought up a lot, but it was used as like a metaphor. And then later on he talks about like nature. He talks about like nihilism. He talks about like a bunch of other stuff.
Do you even know what nihilism is? Define it. You can't look at your laptop. Don't look at your phone.
Nihilism is like the acceptance that nothing really matters. Everything you do is pointless. So therefore, you shouldn't really put any effort into like existence because none of it matters.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did I pass? Did I get a gold star?
Yeah.
Am I a golden noodle?
I give you a check plus on that
Check
one.
plus. Yes.
Is it the everything bagel?
I am an Asian, not a Bayesian.
Sometimes I feel like that chick from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
You feel like you have big boobs and.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't seen that movie. Of course, I haven't seen that movie.
It explores nihilism.
So you don't even know about the bagel.
What was
the everything bagel?
It's everything.
Yeah.
What? Elaborate.
I can't. I don't want to spoil the movie for you.
Oh, what? No. Okay, then you elaborate. Then.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I
it's
don't think I'm gonna watch it anytime soon.
So it's kind of like it's multiverse. No, not multiverse. I'm thinking of the video game right now.
Wait, it is multiverse.
Yeah, it is
Right.
I'm thinking multiverses. It's multiverse.
Right. I haven't seen it. I mean, I know that.
So basically, like, they can travel different universes, things like that.
Right.
Pretty basic concept that we've seen tried and true. But then this girl got like too connected to it, and she's like in all universes
at the
at
same
once.
time?
So she's basically like God level, right? And she just got bored one day and was like, "What if you put everything on an everything bagel?" Because that's a thing. You can get a bagel that's like, "Oh, everything bagel."
Right.
They'll make it, So it's like, what if you actually put everything on a bagel? So she was like putting, cream cheese and trees, dogs, cats, everything, whatever.
Okay,
Just
okay.
everything that existed onto a bagel, and it created like this black hole.
In the
Okay.
universe.
Yeah, in the universe, and that's what was causing like the whole that's basically like the plot line. Essentially, like, we got to stop this bagel from destroying everything.
Wait, so I saw the trailers where there are bad guys going after. So who's the bad guy in this? Like, I don't get it.
It's her. It's the
her trying to stop herself, or
daughter.
the daughter. Her daughter is okay. Sorry, spoiler territory, right?
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I won't try. I tried to avoid the
That's not a
story
spoiler,
points. It is a spoiler.
Well, thanks
you
for
don't,
the
you don't
spoiler
really
alert.
know who the. Okay.
If you're planning on watching the movie, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
heads up.
too late now.
Yeah.
But there you go. So that's the everything bagel, and it's
Okay.
the whole nihilistic. She's like, well, once I realized I can make a black hole with everything, that means nothing matters. It just
Right.
makes a black hole.
Right.
So she wants to like basically like see what's in it and be like, if nothing matters, then why do we even bother?
All right.
And okay, I just watched the movie because the end like takeaway out of nihilism was basically like, even if nothing matters, like, so what?
Right.
Who cares? Like, it's not like nihilistic approach is usually like, if nothing matters, then just give up. But
You got to be like Short Round.
yeah, the movie is basically like, if nothing matters, then okay, that's okay. Just
Got to be kind to people.
yeah, just
Yeah.
continue being who you are, right? Just continue life being a good person.
Right,
Nothing
right.
matters. You can make meaning for yourself, whatever.
Exactly.
Things matter to you doesn't mean that's to matter to the universe, right?
Right.
Just watch the
I'm
movie.
guessing people
Yeah.
get lost in like how big the universe is, and like they feel small and feel like everything they do is kind of insignificant. But the point of that is like, even if it is insignificant, you can still do something about it, right? Is that am I close? In that
Right,
ballpark.
right, because it's like at the end. Okay, fine. I'll just tell you the movie.
Just
come on.
read me the whole entire
the
thing.
end,
This isn't a movie review podcast.
She's like, you could choose any universe. Like the mom could choose any universe to live in. Like, why live in the one that's crappy?
Mm-hmm.
Like the one that she doesn't have a good life in. She's like, well, it's because I choose to, right? It's like, if nothing matters, then me choosing this shouldn't matter to you. So why do you care, right? It's
Right.
like, I'm choosing to do this because it's for me.
Right.
I want to live with you guys, and this is where I want to be. And no one, it's the whole like, why? Who understands that? But it's like the mom understands it the most because that's her decision.
Right.
And she's like, this is just my family. This is where I want to be.
Right.
She could live anywhere. She could be a movie star in a different universe, like have no family and be like super famous.
Right.
But she chooses to be.
But then
here
she wouldn't be
with-
married to Short Round, so
True.
yeah, he was the best.
You call him Short Round. I call him Data.
I
from
think most
the
people know him as
Goonies.
Short Round.
That's probably true. I know him from the Goonies. The Asian guy. You ever seen the Goonies?
No, I haven't seen the Goonies.
Well, there's I guess short round. What was that? Indiana Jones? What is that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Indiana Jones either, man. I just know there's like big boulders running after him, and then he's trying to collect treasures.
Yeah. Well, there's
right?
like a young Asian kid that's in those movies,
Okay.
and then he hadn't been in a movie since, really. So I think this is like 20 years later.
Oh,
this is
shit.
like his debut back in the movies as like the husband,
Ah,
and he's
okay.
like the ultimate good, right? Like he's just so nice of a person. Like it's almost like he's just like the anchor of the family.
Okay.
In all sense, he's just too nice of a person.
Okay.
And he kind of helps lead them into that whole like even if nothing matters,
Right.
like you can still be like you can make it matter and be nice and be
Right.
good. Just be nice to each other.
Because I think what happened is like whenever you get into these ideologies, like you kind of keep on digging, like if this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter, and you keep on going all the way to the bottom, and like once you hit the bottom, like where do you go from there? Do you like stay there, or do you actually like think beyond that and like actually make something out of it? Because I think that's what happens at the end. This is kind of similar to what I was talking about with the whole lobster thing. I hate talking about it, but I'm relating this to like the school shooting that happened recently in Texas.
I'd rather talk about the movie The Lobster with Colin Farrell. Now you want to talk about great movies.
That's a different.
If this is a movie review podcast now, let's talk about The
You know what?
Lobster.
I still have not defined what this podcast actually is. It could be. It could be a movie review sometime in the future. We could do that. But I'm gonna get to my point. The point is, like I was saying earlier with the two lobster. If you are a losing lobster, right, and use that metaphor and translate to like a human being, where you're constantly losing, you're lacking on serotonin, you're feeling defeated, right? The whole world's against you, and like what do you do as a human being in that state? And like I'm trying to relate to the people that go through like the shooting, like how did they get to this state? And and when I talk to people about this whole gun thing, everyone say like limit the amount of gun that you can give to people, or like make it more difficult and all that stuff. But I still think that the root of it all is the culture and what these people are going through that led them to the point of where they're at right now, like the constant feeling of losing. You don't have any more serotonin. You're feeling like you're at loss. The only thing you can really do that gave you more power is through the use of a gun, right? But I'm not proposing a solution. It was just
That
a
doesn't
point.
make any sense.
How does that make any sense? What's
So
lacking?
like you're low on serotonin, so you're gonna shoot a bunch of school kids.
Okay, so do you think this kid had a happy life? What do you think his outlook?
No,
in
I
life
don't think
is?
he had a happy life. A lot of people don't have happy lives though.
Right. If he had a happy life, do you think that like it'd be a little bit different? Do you think that like
I don't
if
know.
he had faith, if he had like confidence in himself?
There's a lot of people that don't have confidence in themselves, Tony. They all don't shoot up school kids though.
Right, but it's a factor. Is the point?
I don't think
Right.
it is.
Then what is?
I don't know. I'm just saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying if I know the correct answer, but I know for a fact that you're wrong.
What do you think, Nick?
I don't know. It's heavy.
It is.
I don't think there's a singular cause and effect here, right? And I also don't think there's a singular solution to something like this either.
I agree.
I do think that reporting it, the media, how the news cycle works, doesn't help. Because I try to imagine panic
Mm-hmm.
and how that kind of affects how people think and sometimes behave. There's a lot of access to the media, to the news, and as soon as like a shooting happens, it's all over the news. Like the guy's name, who the victims are, a lot of details. Everyone's mad at the police right now. There's a lot of things coming out, but this happens after every shooting,
Right.
and then it's like, I think it was just the day after that, there was a guy that tried to
rob a lady.
Yeah, or
something like that.
some other shooting that almost happened. There was even a shooting before this shooting that wasn't so big on the news cycle, but was on the news cycle for a bit. And I don't think it's a coincidence that these things happen in clusters like that.
Right.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that people plan these things out, ahead of time. I don't think this guy did that, but there's been times where they've planned it out. I don't think the news cycle helps. I think you should report on it, but it's like imagine if the
Wait.
news cycle is always reporting on gang
Wait,
activity.
When you say news cycle, I'm a little bit lost in that. What do you mean by news cycle?
Like as soon as it happens, we're gonna talk about it for the next week.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like
we
talk
talked-
about it for like a day,
Right.
and then it's like you have to move on.
Right.
And I say you have to move on, not the families, not the
Right.
people involved, but like the media
Right.
has to move on.
Right.
Like there's more news happening in a week.
Right.
And as important as this is, and as big of a discussion it is, all it does is create this whole thing again. Where It's
Right.
like the same conversations, the same,
Song and dance.
politics.
The same song and dance.
Right. And then
Right.
on top of that, the people listening, imagine you're in that guy's shoes.
Right.
You're saying low serotonin, someone bullied, someone who's thought about maybe, ending their lives or doing something horrendous before then.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're seeing this. And
Right.
then now it's like they're seeing it for however long it's in the news cycle. And I think it festers. And I'm not saying the news causes these things, but I'm saying it's something that I think doesn't help.
Right. No, I completely
It's not
agree.
news.
I completely agree with that because like I talked about this like in the previous podcast and I was saying that like okay, we were talking about coronavirus and then we're talking about Ukraine and then we're talking about like Johnny Depp and it's just like one thing after the other and then like as soon as like one cycle's over, no one talks about it anymore. Like I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with someone about like COVID. But you remember when we talked about COVID for like 2 whole years and then like all of a sudden people just stopped talking about it.
Or
Now
even
we're
the last
talking
school
about-
shooting. Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah, the last school shooting
Right.
happened. We all talked about it, and then
Right.
we moved on to the next thing that was in the news cycle.
Right.
And that's what the news cycle wants you to do, is they want you to
See?
constantly be in a panic mode
Exactly.
of like, the new next big bad
Okay,
thing.
I'm glad you point all this out because I thought I was the only one that was experiencing that because like on my social media, my YouTube feed, like that's all I ever see. I just see like terrible thing that happens across the world, and then like we have to talk about it. And I'm just getting to the point where like I don't want to hear it, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to like do anything with it. But the thing is, like here we are now. Like I'm being a bit of a hypocrite. But if you, okay, the guests can't see it, but behind Nick, I have a little PowerPoint screen saying what's on your mind. That's what's on my mind, and yeah, it's like just like you said, man, it's just like another cycle. Maybe the next cycle is about men with small penises, something.
What?
Yeah. And I know that talking about it's important, and I know that whole conversation and the politics and everything that goes around it needs to be talked about.
Mhm.
But as far as I don't think that's the news.
Right.
It's not the job of the news media, whatever, to bring that conversation in. That's more of a about it. Now what are you going to do about it?
Right.
And then they move on. But
Right.
constantly keeping it in there, constantly keeping it at the forefront of everyone's minds only builds more unease, builds more, distrust,
Right.
and then builds up those people. To me, I think
Okay.
those people who commit these acts aren't just sitting in a basement. They're online. They're looking. They're finding like-minded people. They're probably. They said he was making Facebook posts about it, right? Like he's clearly online, looking at things, getting more and more ingrained in it.
Right.
Now that this is in the news cycle, imagine again, there's other people like that. They exist. They do. And I guarantee there's people planning to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just hasn't happened yet. And how do we prevent it? How do we prevent those people from doing it? I think that's the real question.
Right.
But we talk about all that other stuff, and that we lose track of these people do exist.
Right.
And it's probably going to happen. Well, probably. It will happen again. Like
Right.
that's just the unfortunate reality.
Right.
So how do you fix that? I don't know. But first step I do is just turn off the news, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Just stop talking about it.
Right. You have any thought on that, Andrew?
I mean, I do, but I think what you guys are really referring to is trauma-based mind control. It's basically where they move you from one terrifying event to the next, from COVID to poo-poo, stop it. That's your cat just tried to bite me.
Yeah, he's a little bitey.
He's a little feisty today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trauma-based mind control is basically the idea that you go from, like Nick was saying, you go from COVID to Ukraine to school shootings, and it's just one traumatic event after another. And it manipulates the way that you think, and it keeps you in a constant state of fear, a constant state of anxiety, depression, and you're basically right. You just got to turn off the news and enjoy your life.
Right.
Because I mean, it's sad that those kids died, but it doesn't affect me directly. It doesn't really affect any of us directly, right?
Right.
But they want us to get upset like it does affect us directly.
Right.
Which is like, you should be upset because kids died that didn't need to die, right?
Right.
But on the same level, like, if this happened 50 years ago, you might not even have known about it.
Right.
But the fact that we're all connected now, We're all hearing about these things, right? One after another, we're hearing about people dying of COVID. You might not even have known anybody that got sick with COVID, but you hear about people dying of COVID, people dying in Ukraine, people dying in school shootings, people, dying of this, dying of that, and it's just like constantly, like one after another.
Did you come up with the term trauma-based mind control?
Trauma-based mind control.
Is this something you've researched? Something you've looked into?
I've heard about it before.
He has a degree in it.
Okay.
With like 5 years of college.
I've never heard trauma-based. I mean, mind control is one thing, but trauma-based mind control.
I mean, to comment on that, the when it comes to the media, negative story tend to draw in more viewers than positive stories, right? Because I've known this for like forever. In the news, if you have the like news anchor person say nothing but like, we donated charity to breast cancer awareness or something. Anytime you say something good, you don't catch anyone's attention. So as a job of media, if you say something like school shooting or forest fire or daily disease and all this stuff, like people will swarm, people will like click into it and read more into it, and hence give them
and they
more
get a lot of money.
Online.
Yep,
yeah.
They're getting so
they're
much
incentives.
money from just talking about this shooting.
Right.
That's what's kind of sickening, honestly.
Right. It is.
That's why they talk about it so long. It's not because they care, right? They
Right.
really. Maybe I was painting it as though I think the media. I don't think they care. I think they're
Right.
doing it because that's what gets them the most clicks, like you're saying, the most views, and
Yeah.
that's what gets them the most money.
It's like they optimize the way they report the news.
Yep.
And this is it.
Yep.
So.
It's honestly true. I mean, the COVID tracker with the numbers, how many people are clicking into that, looking at it daily, and how many clicks is that website getting, generating views, and like money, like it's all about money.
The bottom day is the bottom line, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man, where did you hear about this trauma thing? I'm kind of curious now.
Trauma-based mind control.
Trauma-based mind control. Yeah.
I mean, you could call it trauma-based mind control, mass formation psychosis. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I'm sure you heard of that.
Yeah, Andrew is very well versed in the conspiracy. That's why I love talking to this guy.
Who dubbed the term?
I forgot his name. He was a doctor that worked on the mRNA vaccines.
Yeah, I think his name was like Abraham Lincoln.
No,
he made
Robert
Twitter.
Malone. Let me look that up. I think that's his name.
The guy who made the mRNA vaccines
but then
also came up with trauma-based.
No,
mind control?
and he didn't come up with it, but he
dubbed the term.
It's one of these things that people that know about it, but I wouldn't expect you to know about it.
Yeah, we're too much of a square.
I watch movies and
Yeah.
TV
You watch
shows.
too much anime to know about these complex what the global elites don't want you to know.
Yeah, man, they want you to watch kids going back in time, beating up gang members and stuff. That's all they want you to watch. Yeah.
Here, can we play clips on this show?
Not at the moment, man. We
Really?
can. Well, we can, but the thing is, I don't have anything set up. I
Can't pull it up, Jamie?
You can pull it up, but the point is,
So
like,
what do I do? Just play it on my phone over the microphone?
I guess so,
Nah,
man.
just splice it in
I
and
live
give
in
us
the
the
hood.
summary, man.
Look, it's just a struggle, okay? Like, I'm keeping it real, all right? Look, I already blew enough money trying to get all this podcast together. I haven't gotten the camera and like hooking it up to my monitor and all that stuff yet. But yeah, like in the hood, you do what you gotta do, right? So,
Just consider it homework and tell us what video.
yeah.
All right,
Just
I guess I can
use your imagination like Dungeons and Dragons. But until he finds that, go back to what I was saying. Like, I think the whole shooting thing is more of a societal issue, and then we talked about this yesterday too. When you put so many people in a condensed environment, it doesn't decrease stress; it increases stress. And I believe, I wish I could write a book about this, but men are having a lot of issues in today's time. And I believe that's part of a factor why stuff like terrible events like this happen. Does that make sense? I'll go into details later, but
Is it because? So are you saying it's because most of or actually all of these have been done by men?
Do you know any school shooter that are women?
No, that's what I'm saying. So because all of these are done by men, it's a gender based. I'm following along. I'm trying to follow.
Yeah, it is very gender based. It's the way we're treated in society.
Okay.
One, right, and the way that the other gender treats us, and with the development of technology and like how we don't normally hook up anymore, like nobody value men, especially men like that go through like school shooting, like men where they're still developing. They don't have any worth in life just yet. They don't get that worth until they're 40, when they're stable and stuff like that. And then society kind of pushes these men further down, and then there's no help, and then they kind of act out in a sense.
They are pretty open about this guy being bullied, and I think they're pretty open about pretty much every shooter being
social outcast, being bullied, parental trauma, right?
So okay,
But there's a lot of people that have all those things. They don't shoot up schools.
Right.
but how severe?
I found the
of
clip, by the
bullying-
way.
Oh.
I don't know if we can play it or not.
No, you're more than welcome to play it.
I don't know if it's going to come in good or not.
I mean,
All right, I'll just...
okay. Send me the link. I'll paste it in the video, and then like we'll watch it.
I mean, it's like a minute 30 clip. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. It's no big deal.
I'll send it to you right
If
now.
I get canceled, I get canceled.
I mean, that's my goal, Tony, is I want this podcast to get banned.
Yeah, that's why he
So
has.
we never have to do it again.
I knew I invited the right guest.
Yeah.
You're perfect. You're
What
the
are we talking
perfect
about?
guest.
Why kids shoot up schools?
Yeah.
I think it's just because they're evil.
What is evil? Oh, okay.
I think it's like a satanic
You don't
influence.
think it's because they were bullied?
Well, dude, I was bullied. You were bullied. Tony was. Everyone's fucking
Wow.
bullied. Like,
okay, first off, I wasn't.
I was
bullied.
never bullied.
Everyone gets bullied.
Okay, everybody
At one
was
point, right?
bullied. Okay,
But how
the
severely?
question is,
even the bullies were bullied. I mean, everybody was.
There's
bullied.
different severities of bullying, though.
right.
Like you can get bullied by your teachers. You can
Well-
get bullied by everybody. You could literally have no
You can
friends.
get bullied by
the
your
fact that you even
parents.
have friends means you weren't bullied as hard as you should have been. Yes, you should have been bullied.
Well, I mean, no, I agree. I think that actually being bullied, like, it helps build social skills.
I agree.
It's like
I-
anything
I
getting
agree.
bullied by your parents, by your teachers, by everybody.
You don't know that though.
Well,
The point is that
share.
But the
shit.
point the point is like you can't. Okay, if this kid had the perfect life where his parent loved him, where he has all friends, he's friends with all his teacher, he has no enemies,
And still shot up a
do
school.
you think he would shoot up?
You
a
guys
school?
watch too many fucking movies, okay? This is the problem with our society, okay? Is that in every movie, the bad guy has some sort of tragic backstory that justifies how, bad he is and why he does the things he does.
Have you not seen the Joker?
Well, yeah, that's why The Dark Knight was like the best movie, because the Joker was just like, oh, let me tell you a story. You want to hear how I got these scars? And it was a different story every time, right? So
Right.
they didn't fall into that trap of like giving him some sort of tragic backstory that justified his actions. And you guys are doing the same thing, being like, well, he was bullied, and it's like, no, okay? When you go into a school and you can look a little kid in the face and shoot them in the face, there's evil behind that. That's,
Well, of course.
that's some sort of satanic influence manifesting itself on this plane.
All right, can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah. of
So,
course.
taking that into account, so what you're saying is just psychopathic evil energy here, right? Like
Right,
this
some
dude
bad
was
juju.
clearly a psychopath. I mean, clearly he shot little kids with no remorse, right?
Yes.
A lot of psychopaths, I thought, became like serial killers, right? And serial killers are more like they don't really want to die, so they do it and try to get away with it, which they typically do until eventually they get caught, however long it takes. But serial killers, I feel like, have that same energy, but they're not going into schools shooting up a bunch of people. In this case, it's like this is more of like a passionate act of violence versus like just being a psychopath and being like, I want to go kill people, but how can I get away with it?
So the difference is like he's at his limit, kind of deal. Compared
That's
to
what I'm
someone,
thinking. Yeah,
okay.
like he had a breaking point,
Right.
and that's when it like,
right,
everything went down.
And like imagine you're him and you have no way of like impacting the world. I think guns is probably like the biggest thing that people can like abuse in a sense, right?
Like the Boston bombers, remember those guys?
Yeah.
they didn't use guns, but they used homemade bombs at a marathon and killed a few people. They were trying to kill plenty of people, right? They were trying. I think they had a few bombs that didn't even go off.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they were trying to kill a lot of people,
right.
and that's obviously way more like they thought that through way too much. Psychopathic behavior, and they also tried to get away, right? They didn't just walk in and like do it. They were trying, like, it was hard to find them, right? It wasn't like this guy who walks into a school and it's like he's
Right.
willing to just die
Right.
as he's killing kids because he doesn't care. He's just going to do whatever he wants, like a lot of these school shooters
Right.
who end up living somehow, but this one doesn't for whatever reason.
Right.
You know? It's like, how do all these other school shooters live, but then this guy, it's like, okay, well, guess, That's that.
Right.
He was a school shooter. He's dead. End of story. Evil person. Done.
Well, man, the thing is, like, I do not know these school shooters enough to say, oh, they did it because of X, Y, Z. Right? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of factors, but, like, when I was giving you an example, like, do you think this kid had a happy life? If he had a happy life where he wasn't, like, traumatized or he didn't feel like, you know, an outcast, like, why would he shoot up a school? Right? So, like, what causes people to do these kind of acts in the first place, right? So, like, what triggers it? And then you have to, like, just think about it. Like, I'm not saying that I know the answer, but at the same time, I know what's not the answer. You know, like, this kid, if this kid has his shit together and everything was great, he wouldn't do it. Am I wrong to say that?
Any positive role models in their lives? The fact that they were bullied, or just evil.
How could they be bullied?
Or it could be a mix of everything.
I want to call you out now. Kids have been doing Zoom classes for the past 2 years. How the fuck do you get bullied through Zoom, Mr. Smartass?
Yeah, just turn off your computer.
What's that post in the background? You know, and then, like, you make fun of them. You can make, dude. Kids are ruthless. They make fun of anything.
I heard he wasn't even in school.
Bro, the fact that he had a Facebook profile tells you that he's getting cyberbullied. I mean, how? Okay, I don't use Facebook, but I know that the cyberbullying scene is huge, right? Do you know anyone who's been cyberbullied? Does anyone know who's been cyberbullied? I hear cyberbullying all the time.
Like Tyler, the creator, said, just turn off the computer.
That's what I'm saying. But not everybody turns off the TV or the monitor or whatever.
No, man,
you can get bullied in plenty of ways. Cyberly, physically.
Oh, man. Oh, bro, you just triggered me, bro. Fuck, you just triggered the living shit out of me. Dude, I read this article again. Some lady got into the metaverse and she was, like, sexually harassed or sexually assaulted, you know, in the metaverse. And I'm just like, oh, bro, no, I don't want to get into this again. But we're I'm getting
you see what I'm saying? People, they're emotionally attached to a lot of things, you know. That's how it is. You need positive role models in your life.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, like, if your positive role model is the person that abuses you,
yeah, that's
So, I mean, like, what do you do?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah. People do look up to bad people a lot, you know, and maybe not because they're bad, but because they have that one redeeming quality or something. You know, like, not everyone's. My personal belief, not everyone. I don't think there's a single person that's 100% just an evil person.
Right.
I agree. I don't think that's true. I think some, like, people have their reasons, and some people do heinous, evil things.
Right.
And I would justify it as being evil. But as the person, I'd say there's no way in their life they haven't done one thing.
Right.
That was good.
Right. No, I agree. Unless, you know, the literal devil came out on the news and, you know, start talking, maybe that's evil. But, like, if a kid's being bullied and all that stuff, like, maybe, I don't know, I'm a little more sympathetic in that direction. I don't think I would call the kid evil. It's just, I would say that he went through, like, a lot of shit, you know, and it caused him to do evil acts.
So this is where we're at. He killed 20 small children. You won't call him evil?
No, he is evil for doing that.
Well, no, he just said he wouldn't call him evil, though.
What is evil?
Somebody who kills 20 small children.
Yeah, I would say he was evil for that. Now, the reason for it is what I'm trying. Yeah, I'm not. No one's justifying that.
Okay, cool.
Well, I want to make it be like, oh, he was probably bullied. It's like, yeah, you kind of are justifying.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not justifying it. It's saying
I understand
And I said earlier, I don't have a one cause, one effect type deal. Bullying isn't the one cause that led to this, even though it's maybe I'm making it sound that way. But I think everyone said he was bullied.
Mm-hmm.
Let's explore that. But instead, we move past that and go, oh, gun control.
Yeah.
Everything.
All political.
Yeah, all political.
Yeah.
And was it bullying like a big headline for a while, like a few years ago, where they're like, we're going to try to stop bullying?
How do you even do something like
that? I don't know.
That's the thing.
No one ever figured it out. So then we stopped talking about it.
And like, the reason why I wanted to opt out of this, like, this whole school shooting thing is because, like, everyone thinks they have a solution. You know, and like they blame the people in the government for not having a solution, and then like you're expecting one person to give out a solution to somehow, never have school shootings ever again. Like how in the hell can one person or the government do something like that?
Take away all the guns.
Right. And thank you for saying that, because the next question is, how much power does it take to do something like that?
I don't know.
How much power?
I don't know.
That's totalitarian, isn't it?
I feel like there's a good segment of the population that if you tried to take away their guns, they would just
it's a cultural thing, especially in America now. Like,
They would start
Americans,
blasting.
Yeah, Americans are really sensitive about their guns. I mean, it's a cultural thing.
I mean, it's written into our Constitution. It's the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Shall not be infringed. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed.
You know how many senses we have? We have sight, hearing, taste, touch. What am I missing? Something and gun. Is what I'm trying to get at.
The thing is, if they took away everyone's guns, they would have to take away all the cops' guns as well.
Right.
But
what's
the likelihood of that happening?
And you just now remind me. To carry on what you were saying earlier, you take everyone's gun, and in that situation where that one guy was about to shoot up that one location, if the lady didn't have a gun, then like what would have happened?
Yeah, but
right?
see, that's not like a huge story that's making it through
Yeah.
the news cycle,
Well,
because no one wants to have that conversation.
Right.
Because then you can say, well, neither of them should have had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that should have never been, and it could spiral right into this whole...
And like, I was talking to Megan about this. I don't remember the full details, but pretty much the cop... Oh, I'm telling you, I'm not sure I got it from Megan, but the point is... No, you guys, we were talking to you guys. You guys were saying that, like, cops are not paid to pretty much protect us.
Yeah, the cops are constitutionally, they're not required to protect you. They're just there to enforce the law.
Right.
So the only person ultimately that you can count on to protect you is yourself.
Exactly.
So
if you're like a man and you have a family and you can't expect the cops to protect you, like what do you do? Right? And that's the whole point of the Second Amendment, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole point of the Second Amendment is that it's our right to bear arms gives us power over the government in case things got really bad.
Right.
Yeah. And to go back to, the shooting that happened and all the details about the cops and their response to it, they could have stepped in a lot earlier, it seems like. Mm-hmm. It seems like that's kind of the general consensus of cops. What were you guys doing?
Right.
Why didn't you go in? And, they have all these excuses or reasons.
They're probably too busy playing Fortnite or something.
Yeah, but it's like, exactly. They're not there. Like, what are they there for?
Right.
They're there to not help. No.
Just watch.
Yeah, they're there to
watch.
To make sure no one else from the outside gets in. Yeah, it's insane, man. Like, that's another issue outside of bullying is the response.
Right.
The response is pretty crap. It's horrible.
Right. And then, like, what does that show and what does that, like, say?
Yeah. And then they'll show up and shoot someone in their house, right? It's like there's no rhyme or reason to how cops as a whole respond to things.
Right.
It's insane. They'll shoot your dog, but they won't go in and stop a guy shooting kids because, I guess that's not how cops work.
I don't know,
All
man.
cops are different. All cops do things differently. There's different procedures, different protocols. That's news to me, I feel like. I feel like all cops should kind of follow the same general rule.
Right.
And now it's like, do cops put their lives on the line? Are they like, military-esque, like send a soldier overseas, you expect the soldier to put their life on the line for the country.
Right.
But do cops have that same sort of...
No, I don't think so. I don't think they have the incentive.
Yeah.
You think they get paid enough to, like, do their job correctly?
I mean, whether it's a money thing or if it's... I don't know what it is.
I think for a lot of them, it's like they talk a big game, but when it actually comes time to, put the rubber to the road, they don't got what it takes.
Because it was that other school shooting that happened where there was a cop on the scenes and he ran away.
The one in Florida, yeah.
Yeah, the one in Florida. He was there while the shooting was active, and he just straight up left, and everyone gave him complete shit for it. But I remember that. And now this is like a repeat of that, but now it's a whole squad of cops.
They can talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect themselves, right?
Right.
It's insane.
Shit. I'm glad we're talking about this stuff now, to be honest, because, like, at first I was kind of avoiding it, but I'm like, if we don't talk about it, and then, like, nothing's going to happen, right?
The real heroes are, like, the teachers, right? Because the teachers are there with the kids, as there are teachers that died too, but how many stories do you hear of teachers like using their bodies to stand by the door and take the brunt of the bullets or trying to like stop it themselves? Like, you want to talk about pay? Right? Look at these teachers.
Right.
They're putting their lives on the line every day, right? Because school shooting. I'm a if you're a teacher and you're hearing all these school shootings happening, it's like, why do you go to work?
Right.
And you're going to work and you can't be strapped.
Right.
Now it's like,
oh, Andrew. Okay, what's your opinion on this? Should teachers have guns on them
Hell
on school
no.
campus. No?
Fuck no.
No, for real?
We all went to the same high school.
What happened? I can't remember.
Would you trust? No, fuck no.
What?
That's the worst idea I've ever
Is
heard.
it? I'm just throwing out ideas, man. I don't really know. I mean, maybe.
Dude, the
right?
way
because
we
like
acted,
look.
they would be shooting us. They would be like,
What?
told you to shut the fuck up.
It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
I mean, I've had teachers have mental breakdowns. I
Yeah.
don't think they'd ever pull a
yeah.
gun out on me.
I don't know,
Yeah.
bro.
I don't think it's ever gotten to that
I
point.
mean, I'm just throwing out ideas, man. What if they had to like go through training, like, hey, do like 6 weeks of training?
No, I still don't trust them.
No, okay.
Nope.
On to the next solution, right? I mean, I'm just brainstorming.
Yeah, clearly having
do?
police officers on the scene doesn't change anything.
Right.
Clearly
Bro,
having protection there doesn't matter because they can go and get a coffee, and then while they're getting a coffee, that's when the shooting happens.
Yeah.
It's
Bro,
insane.
okay, because hear me out, man. If I if I'm about to shoot up a school, right, and I know that literally every single classroom there's somebody with a gun in there, just stop me. I don't think I have any inclination to like.
Yeah.
To do
now
that,
imagine
right?
you
I'm
getting
just
bullied. Now imagine you getting bullied by these people.
Oh shit. Okay, no, you're
Yeah,
right.
how
Terrible idea.
defenseless are you?
You're right. Terrible. I'm sorry. Look, I'm trying, man. I don't know what the solution is. I'm just speaking my mind.
Yeah. Well, I don't think
Yeah.
there is a solution. Unfortunately.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, we can take everyone's guns away, but it doesn't stop, again, bullying or evilness
Right.
from, like, what, Japan? The guy just had a knife and went to an elementary and started stabbing a bunch
Are
of
you
kids.
serious?
Yeah, that happened.
Oh shit.
Things like that happen, right? And then it's like, well, could you have stopped it? Maybe. But the dude stabbed like 10 kids.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
It's
terrible.
it's insane.
Or that guy that ran over those people during the parade.
Oh yeah, I
in
remember that.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Anything and everything can be used as a weapon.
Right.
You're not going to stop crazy people from doing crazy things, unfortunately.
I mean, you gotta try, because like my rationale is if I was a principal or someone in a position where something like that happened, responsibility is on me. Like even though the responsibility isn't on us to fix it, but like the people that are there, they have to do something. They can't just like sit around and like whenever you throw out a solution and people don't like it, like the people give you shit for it. People don't give you shit for like pretty much anything. I don't really know, man. So that's just where I'm coming from.
How much time have we got left?
I mean, we can stop whenever. So it's 42 minutes in. Is there anything on your mind that you want to talk
I
about?
think we got enough time for my my subject.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad because like it's getting too dark.
Yeah, I'm sort of
Right.
tired talking about kids getting shot.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer.
well,
don't you
also
think?
stab, but
Yeah,
Stabbed, run over by cars.
yeah. What you got for us today, Andrew?
Did you know that toxic chemicals are decreasing penis sizes?
What chemical? I heard H2O does that. What chemical are you
It's a
talking about?
certain. They're yeah, it's H2O. They're known as forever chemicals.
Did Alex Jones say this?
Yes, he did.
I was joking. Are you serious?
Do you not remember the gay frog?
I remember
bit?
the gay frog. That's where I got it from.
Yeah,
Well, like, I didn't
that
think
was a real study. That's like people make fun of him for that, but that was a real study that the University of California, Berkeley did about atrazine in the water was causing frogs to turn gay.
Yeah, I read the same.
But
article.
this is more about chemicals in the plastics
Okay, so
are causing decreasing sperm counts and also decreasing penis size. Very small PPs.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a joke, but this is a serious issue because as sperm counts decrease, it can mean the end of humanity.
like, is this determined at birth, or is this like over time?
Wait,
It gets
wait,
smaller.
Wait. So what's the actual issue? Is it the chemical,
Okay, the
right?
according to
Google.
the article I'm reading off of is a Guardian article called "Plummeting Sperm Counts, Shrinking Penises, Toxic Chemicals Threatening Humanity" by Aaron Brockovich, who's a very famous environmentalist. Apparently, I'm just sort of skimming through it. Sperm count has dropped almost 60% since 1973. Following the trajectory we are on, research suggests that sperm counts could reach zero by 2045.
Holy shit!
2045, that's like 20 years away.
Damn.
Zero?
Zero.
No, wait, no. What? Zero?
Yep.
How did that work? Wait, no.
Let me continue. The chemicals to blame for this crisis are found in everything from plastic containers and food wrapping to waterproof clothes and fragrances and cleaning products. to soaps and shampoos to electronics and carpeting. Some of them, called PFAs, also known as forever chemicals because they don't break down in the environment or the human body. They accumulate and accumulate, doing more and more damage minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. You guys heard about this?
No.
Got any thoughts?
I heard something similar. I don't remember where I heard it from, but the level of testosterone in men is going down too.
It's not just men. According to this article, in some parts of the world, the average 20-something woman today is less fertile than her grandmother was at 35. So it's not just men, it's affecting both men and women. It's a fertility crisis. Seems like nobody really wants to talk about that. Why do you think that is?
But isn't the population growing exponentially year by year?
Is it nature fixing itself? Or is it the chemical that made by man? Or what do you think? Because what I was going to say was a little bit off topic on what you were saying.
Well, these chemicals, they disrupt male hormones and they reduce semen quality, testicular volume, and penile length. They confuse our body, making them send mixed messages and go haywire.
You said this is a Guardian article?
Yes, the Guardian.
And that's in the UK, right?
Yes, it's not that old. It's like a
Is this
year.
not just a sample of the UK population then?
This is...
Maybe it's just the UK having
Yeah,
some PPE.
yeah. I'm okay with believing that. The UK is.
Well, the research was done at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, New York.
See, and here's the crazy thing, man. Like, I don't remember who said this, but it is easier to believe a big lie than a tiny truth. Right? What if this was true? You know? Like, what if?
It is true. Wow, sorry, I was reading the article. What did you say?
No, I'm just saying, like, why is it so hard for...
Yeah, if it's true, then there's nothing you can do about it, right?
Well, we could just
Well, I
get the
wouldn't say
chemicals
there's
out of the
nothing.
plastics. That would be a start.
Oh, yeah. Don't they have ways to deal with that now? Or at least they're working on a lot of ways to deal with that? Like with nanotechnology, I think I saw. They're using robots to break down plastics.
They're using nanorobots to, like, cure cancer. Or not cure cancer, but, like, eat away cancer.
Which sounds like a far away solution, but it seems like we're actively working on things behind the scene. And I say we because I
We
want to
as
feel
in-
like I'm doing something.
We as in human society.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How do you guys feel about, like, technology growing exponentially? You think we can get to the point where we can potentially solve this as well?
I think you could just find out what chemicals are causing the issue and take them out of the plastics, right?
How are you
How are you
as an individual going to do that?
As an individual?
Yeah.
You just...
Dude, you know what's in the water? It makes the frogs gay, bro. I mean, like, how do you fix something like that?
Yeah,
You
how
just
do
stop using atrazine. We know what the chemical is. It's fucking atrazine. Just stop using atrazine.
So 99% of products you could buy use that chemical. So
Yeah.
you're looking for the 1% that doesn't.
Well, exactly.
I mean, bro, you could go into... We could go, like, whole fucking conspiracy mode here.
Let's
And,
go!
Like, Monsanto and, like, the whole...
Monsanto!
Yeah, the whole Roundup thing. Do you guys even know about Roundup? And
I do.
The damage
I do.
that caused? Right, yeah. So if you would have said a while ago that Roundup causes cancer, they would have been like, yeah, you fucking conspiracy theorist. But now it's like a
Right.
well-known thing.
Well,
And I'm telling you right now that the penis lengths are going down because of these chemicals. And nobody wants to listen to me. I care about the children, Tony.
no,
And their
I'm
penises.
Stop.
This
No.
is for the children. I'm fine, obviously. But I'm just worried about the children, that's all.
Yeah, you can take 2 inches off me. I'll still be fine. What? No, with the whole Monsanto thing, man. To bring it up, yeah, it's the whole conspiracy. It's ridiculous because the people that work for Monsanto, they talk to the government, right? They talk from, like, lower chain of the government all the way up to, like, the level of presidency, where the president allowed them to use these chemicals to, like, spread across the U.S. And I wouldn't be surprised if the exact same thing happened with, like, the plastic and, like, all the chemical that's in that shit. And, like, it's the cycle repeats, but it's different chemical now at this point.
So what part of our government is responsible for making sure this doesn't happen?
Isn't there supposed to be, like, an anti what's that word? Like,
Probably the FDA, to be honest.
well, yeah, them too, but
So is that where you'd start? You would start with the FDA and say, guys, you need to actually, like,
Well, like,
take this seriously.
I think they're trying. It's just, like, when it comes to, like, political bribing and all that stuff, like, that's something that's outside
a lot
of
Well,
our
it's like
money.
written into the standards, right? It's like there's standards for what goes in, what can go into plastic packaging and what can't go into plastic packaging. The same way for the standard for years was to let BPA into plastics, which I'm pretty sure it's like in the same realm as these. But everyone knows like BPA is really bad for you. That's why everything's labeled like BPA free now. And that was written into the standards for plastic packaging, was that you can allow BPA in it. So that's what you have to go to, is just the standards of what can go in packaging and what can't go in packaging.
Alternate solution. What if we stop using plastic? Is that possible? Because
Just
there are
drink a
certain
plastic water bottle.
I mean, there are certain countries that are like banning like small use of like plastic, just in general. So no water bottles, no plastic containers.
But it's kind of convenient, don't you think?
Well, I mean, that's the trade-off, right? What do you want? Do you want smaller PP or do you want like your water bottles?
I think I'll just go with small PP.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that the would you rather? Would you rather have no plastics or a small PP?
Ooh, that's tough. I do like my plastic.
Yeah. How small is a smaller PP?
Anything smaller than what it already is.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
But another alternate just came out. Just I did not remember. McDonald's and stuff are making women bigger in other places, right? Is that what do you guys think about that?
Like
Their butts.
their butts.
Yeah.
So there's just chemicals everywhere
What
that
the-
just
what-
alter us.
Well, okay. Like Andrew was saying earlier, he was watching the what was the music video, dude? Anaconda.
Yeah, the I Like Big Butt song.
Yeah, the like big butt, and like he was saying that in the music video, the girls don't even have that big of a butt. So like, how do you explain that a whole like 50 to 100 years of women having like one particular size, and as soon as it hits like around like 2000, the size just like blow up astronomically? You know, is it the food? Is it the fast food joint that we go to, or like this conspiracy like goes into like a whole entire different rabbit hole? But the point is, chemical is pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard not to consume it, and even if you do attempt to not consume it, it's gonna cost you more, and it's gonna cause you more inconvenience. So, yeah, so we live in a world where people are just getting their body or getting manipulated by the chemicals, and it's just getting insane.
Okay, is it because we are stupid?
No.
Or
Yes.
is it because we are greedy?
No,
Both.
I think it's greedy. We, as in, well, corporations are identities of themselves. So yeah.
Like
so it's
when
more greedy.
doctors are handing out opiates as candy,
Mhm.
and now we're like, oh yeah, those are bad. Was that stupidity or was that greed?
It was both.
It's a little mix.
It's always a little bit of both.
Like right now, I know about the pesticides they use for a lot of marijuana farms, and that's been up for debate because people are saying that the stuff they get from the store is actually really bad for you, and you shouldn't smoke the stuff from the store. You know, grow it yourself because the pesticides they use are really harmful for you.
See, that's funny because like when the government was legalizing marijuana, I was told that was like the best stuff.
Yeah.
It was the most natural thing. Like,
Exactly.
it's better than like from a shady drug dealer.
Yeah,
But now I'm hearing the exact opposite. So like,
because the FDA approved it.
right.
So, but then eventually maybe they'll ban it after however long it takes,
Well,
and then they'll be like, yeah, actually this was bad the whole time.
So by the end of the day, you gotta follow the money, right?
Yeah.
So depending like whoever profits off of it, right?
Who makes that chemical?
Right.
So this is why I need to spend more time in chemistry, actually paying attention.
Yeah. Dude,
It went
I was
over
so-
my head.
Dude, I was so bad in chemistry, man. I remember the fuck, I forgot the number, but like, you know what I'm talking about? There was a very specific number that belonged to like this one guy, but like I remember like a decent amount of that, but that's all I remember. I don't remember anything else. But anything else on you guys' mind?
Well, I found out a little bit more about these chemicals that are
I
causing it.
lay it on me, man.
This is a USA Today article called "Add Falling Sperm Counts to the List of Threats to Human Survival," epidemiologist warns. And they go on to talk about the specific types of chemicals that are causing this decrease in sperm count. I already mentioned that they're called the forever chemicals. They're endocrine disrupting chemicals, but specifically, they go on to say they enter through food and drinks, microscopic airborne particles we inhale, and in the products we absorb through our skin. They're found in plastic and vinyl, floor and wall coverings, medical tubing and medical devices, children's toys, nail polishes, perfumes, hairsprays, soaps, shampoos, and more. They're added to plastic to make them soft and squishy. Think shower curtains, rubber duckies, soft tubing. The processed food we eat passes through soft tubing to get into the packaging. When these chemicals in the plastic come in contact with food, the phthalates leave the plastic and leach into the food. When we eat the food, they get into our bodies. They interfere with hormones in several different ways. and they already mentioned this. They trick the body into thinking it has more testosterone than it actually does, causing the body to stop producing testosterone, increasing the chances that the man will be infertile or have a low sperm count.
Dang.
So it sounds like a pretty big issue.
But no one's gonna talk about it though.
We're talking about it.
Well, I mean, beside us, of course.
And then somebody listening to this will hear about it and they'll be like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, okay.
And then they'll talk about it.
Just
and
for
then this one single podcast, Tony, can cause a change reaction that changes the world.
It's the butterfly effect, man.
That's the way you got to look at it, man.
We're making changes.
Don't be so nihilistic about it.
Just to make sure, what's the chemical call again? To avoid?
They're endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Into what?
Write this down.
See, this is the problem. You don't even know what an endocrine is.
I don't. I never passed 4th grade, man.
But I bet you know how to tame a horse in Minecraft, though, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. See, I think that's the real problem, but I think that's a subject for another day.
I know all the elements from Minecraft, but I don't know anything about
I bet you know the Yu-Gi-Oh Duel decks meta pretty well, don't you?
Yeah.
Master Duel. Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel meta deck pretty well, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but you don't know what endocrine disrupting chemicals are.
I don't.
Yeah, well,
if
maybe
if he knew that, would that change anything?
No, I mean maybe the elites are right, bro. Maybe we deserve to be depopulated. Maybe we are just a scum of the earth.
Just give them their Yu-Gi-Oh. Just give them their
Maybe
Minecraft.
we are just a disease. Like if we're not smart enough to know what's going on, then maybe we actually deserve to be called like animals.
Dude, okay, look. I don't remember where. Why do I keep saying that? Do I have a bad habit of saying I don't remember where I say? I mean, anyways, but I saw an ad. It was this Russian lady or Ukrainian or whatever. She was saying like.
Whoa! I gotta interrupt you right there. Big difference between Russian and Ukrainian. Okay.
Tomato, potato, same thing.
Whoa! No.
They're all the same.
No. Was it Russian or Ukrainian? Choose one.
I don't know. Based off her accent, I'm gonna say she's Russian.
Okay.
Is that better?
I don't want to talk about if she was Russian.
Okay, she was Ukrainian.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay, cool. So this Ukrainian chick on this ad, she was saying like, "Oh, I followed this guy that invests in stock, and I did exactly what he did, and I just blew up, and then I shit. What the hell were we talking about? You distracted me, bro. What were we talking about?
We're talking about endocrine disrupting chemicals and how you don't know what the endocrine system is because you failed high school biology.
I thought you were talking about the Ender Dragon.
No. Now I remember. But she was saying that she followed this stock investor and invested in everything that he did, right? And she ended up making a lot of money, right? So the point I'm trying to get at is follow what the most powerful people are doing, right? So look at Elon Musk. Look at Bill Gates. Like, what are they doing? Right, they're getting the fuck out of Earth. Right, they're going to space. Right, they're finding like space chicks, and they're gonna leave us here. Right, so like they are like they're thinking ahead. While we're living in the present. Right. Does that kind of make sense? So
no,
you don't know if you don't know what you're doing. It's good to look at people that do know what they're doing, or at least you think.
In other words, have a good role model.
Or that, sure, you can say it that way.
Yeah,
but
like a good role model is like a life that you want to mirror, mimic.
Right,
like,
but all I'm saying is like Elon Musk and all them want to like peace out from Earth because of like chemicals and like they want their penis as big as possible. So they're like, no, I don't want to live on Earth anymore. I gotta bounce to Mars. Right?
Hey, guess what time it is?
Is my tinfoil condom on too tight?
Guess what time it is? It's 4:20.
It's 4:20.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all I gotta say, man. It is wrapping up to about that hour. Is there anything else on your mind, guys? Yeah, anything you want to bring up?
No, I just wish you would know more about like current events and less about video games.
You're right, man.
I wish we would have talked about video games.
What do you want to talk about?
Lost Ark, anybody?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. All right, guys.
Anyways.
That's the end of the episode, guys. Now. What about Lost Ark, man? I'm so tired of hearing Lost Ark. You keep saying like you hate it and then you keep on playing it. Make up your mind, dude.
That's how MMOs are, man. You hate them and you hate playing them, and then 300 hours into it, you're like, yeah, I can't stop.
You hurt so good. I hate you, but I need you.
Exactly. You ever play like a game on your phone and you just can't stop playing it, and it's just like a mindless activity? Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
But on a computer, and you sit there for hours.
Turn off your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to all these.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to the news.
Just,
exactly. You just spend all your time doing that.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it. You learn about kids dying 3 hours after the fact instead of when it's happening.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we could kind of sort of wrap everything up with this. Do you think that shooter video games, FPS games, cause people to shoot up schools?
No, because I don't know how to operate an assault rifle.
Is it
Like,
a game?
I play Call of Duty all the time. I don't like. I didn't know how to like reload a gun or not. Like I didn't know how to like do it manually with my own hand until like I actually did it myself.
Is it a game?
So you can't.
Specifically, where the shooter goes into a school and shoots up a bunch of kids.
No.
Those games don't exist.
Okay, then no.
Yeah, those games don't exist. There was at one point there was a game where like that's what it kind of was, but the whole point of the game is to be as gruesome as possible, and you murder as many people as you possibly can. And like people were saying like this game is too violent. It's gonna cause people to like go crazy and all this stuff, so they banned the game.
A game
But
where they went into a school.
it wasn't a school, but it was just the whole point of it was to make it as gruesome as possible. So like they enter like a building and they just shot up everybody. So. And the guy that made the game he built it as like a shock factor. He didn't do it to encourage people to go through school shooting because like I'm pretty sure he's smart enough to realize that that's not how it works. But to answer your question, no, like violent video games does not lead to that. I feel like it does the opposite.
Yeah, you think I was just going to bring that up. Do you think it has the opposite effect where maybe there's someone who like fantasizes about shooting people up, but then they like play Call of Duty and they get a bunch of kills on Call of Duty, and then suddenly that urge goes away?
Yes. If you guys seen Fight Club, part of the whole premise of the whole entire movie is men, they need to let out their inner masculinity, instead of like being pushed down, instead of like being controlled by work, being controlled by like
that whole movie is about toxic masculinity, Tony.
Oh no, it's about
Yes, it
masculinity,
is.
period.
No, it's about toxic masculinity.
Okay, how's it about toxic masculinity? What is toxic masculinity?
Toxic masculinity is when you're masculine to a toxic degree.
Have you seen it, Nick?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Right.
Yeah,
It's about toxic
good-
masculinity, right?
Toxic though.
Yeah,
I
there's
wouldn't
the
say
whole
toxic.
scene where like the dudes, it was like the testicular cancer. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
It was like the testicular cancer support group. Like literally, they've had their manhood taken away. It's all about toxic masculinity.
Oh man, it's about masculinity in my opinion.
Yes, toxic masculinity.
No. Remove the word toxic, and then that's what the movie's about.
Okay.
Because the whole entire movie is like there are men that just kind of lost in life, but they feel like they're
So Tyler Durden is the embodiment of toxic masculinity.
no,
Yeah,
he
it's
is
like,
the embodiment of masculinity,
Okay.
not toxic.
It's satire, right?
No, dude. No, what makes you think it's a satire? This isn't a comedy.
I've never read the book. I know the book is like probably a lot.
See,
better.
I shouldn't even talk about it because it's been literally probably over
Over
10,
it's
10,
been
so
10
long
years
since
since I've seen that movie.
I just remember it has
Right.
a twist, and it's like,
But-
oh, cool.
But the point is like he lived through a life and then he doesn't get to be a man. He doesn't get to like release his like testosterone and like release that energy and the chemical that that make us like go wild. And when you go into Fight Club, you let that out. You let that out of your system in a sense. So like when I play like fighting game like Tekken, it feels good beating the shit out of somebody that's my same level. Like I don't physically punch them. The fact that I'm able to like let out that energy and like beat people up, I don't feel as crazy. And I don't know if this is correct, but it's similar to cats. They have like this killer instinct where they need to kill stuff. And my cat, his eyes gets bigger. And that's how I know he's into hunt mode. So he would like attack my claw, my hand, attack my leg and all that stuff. But he doesn't do it because like he hates me
He's
or
a
anything.
toxic cat.
He's a toxic cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Let's make a movie.
He's a cat. He has to do it.
Let's make a
'cause he
movie
has
called
that
Cat
urge.
Club. Let's make a movie called Cat
Yeah,
Club.
yeah. I think that's what you're saying is the takeaway I had, where it's like the Fight Club was there to make sure that they got their needs or their inner desires,
Yeah.
and if that's toxic masculinity, then
Right. Oh, and
that's not how I viewed it.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where men are being not appreciated and stuff like that. Like nobody really appreciates a man being a man anymore. Like men don't get to be men. We don't get to exert this kind of stuff, and if we do, it's labeled as toxic.
It's better than just going up to a random person and attacking them, right? And I think that's more in line of toxic masculinity for me, where they'll like videotape their friend like going and punching someone in the back of the head.
No. I think you're off by a small margin. But Andrew, what is toxic? Like, give me an example of what toxic masculinity is.
I guess I don't know the difference between just normal masculinity and toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity is like talking down on a woman, or like abusing the fact that you're a male, you're in power. You're more aggressive, and like because you're a man, you're more aggressive. You're allowed to be more aggressive in a sense.
Okay, so it's not that you can't control your urges. It's more like you're a man. You think you're the top dog.
Yeah, I'm
So
better than you.
alpha guys. I'm an alpha, so that means you're a toxic masculine person. and nobody should like people who think they're alphas. But turns out everybody loves those people because they're everywhere.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you know,
is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
I just think that like we're being attacked because like we are showing masculine traits, but that's being labeled as toxic. Like, what if I said that about women? You know, like women are just being women. I'm saying like, oh, women, that's toxic femininity, but they're just being women.
Should I read you the Urban Dictionary definition of toxic masculinity?
Sure.
I don't know how much longer we want to go on.
We can go as long as whatever, man.
I mean, I know this is something you're passionate about.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so maybe we could talk about it. I always go to Urban Dictionary for this type of stuff because I
go
feel like
to
that's
Wikipedia next, man. That's the
no,
best.
because I don't like Wikipedia.
Or Yahoo Question.
I like Urban Dictionary the best. Okay, toxic masculinity, a social science term that describes narrow, repressive type of ideas about the male gender role that defines masculinity as exaggerated masculine traits like being violent, unemotional, sexually aggressive, and so forth. Also suggests that men who act too emotional or maybe aren't violent enough or don't do all the things that real men do can't get their man card taken away. Many people confuse the difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity. However, one can be masculine without having toxic masculinity. Here's some beliefs of toxic masculinity. Interactions between men and women always has to be competitive and not cooperative. Men can never truly understand women, and that men and women can never just be friends. That real men need to be strong, and that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, unless it's anger. That is considered okay.
Yeah, that's one of them, yeah.
The idea that men can never be victims of abuse or talking about it is shameful. The idea that real men always want sex and are ready for it at any time.
It's like stereotypical men, but like amplified to like a million.
When was this all a thing?
This is from 2017, this definition.
Yeah, it's when woke became a thing. Or at least I think that's when it all kind of like rippled out. You know? So
here's an example. Guy. A real man doesn't stay at home and take care of his kids while his wife works. You're a cuck.
Yeah, a man should be out there having sex while his wife stays at home taking care of the kids.
That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if a guy rapes somebody,
no, that's a different.
Okay.
No, that's totally different. No.
Okay.
Like, okay, what's your definition of masculinity?
It's like saying you're crying,
yeah,
little
you're a little
bitch.
bitch.
Stop
yeah.
fucking crying, you little pussy.
Yeah, masculinity is I don't know.
Yeah,
I would say like someone like like a guy's role model should be like a masculine person.
I agree.
Like, I would think like the first person is like I don't know Hercules, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a masculine figure.
Are we talking about historical Hercules or the Disney Hercules?
Disney.
I was thinking Disney.
I was thinking Disney. Yeah.
I don't know how bad the historical Hercules might be.
Yeah, my masculine role model is Batman from Batman the Animated Series. He's pretty badass. Not my dad or anything.
But he's like more cool, right? Like more cool, collected. And he also fits into those, what you just said, where he doesn't show emotions and like is a loner and kind of does things himself because he's got a high ego. So it's almost toxic, right? Like, is Batman toxic masculinity, really? Right?
I don't know. I would say no. Instinctively, I would say no. I don't think that's right. No, it's I mean, like I said, like, when a man cries, you call him a bitch, and like that's. I'm trying to figure out how it works.
So the one calling him a bitch is the toxic person there.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, so they're portraying toxic masculinity, whereas the guy crying is
like,
just
like masculinity.
You could call him masculine.
Yeah, masculine. Okay. So I asked you earlier, what masculine to you mean? Like masculine is like, oh, you don't cry. Men don't cry. Like, some people think that's toxic because like as a man you should be able to cry, but in society we're condemned for showing emotion, right? Stuff like that.
I got you.
I'd rather talk about school shooters again.
Oh,
very uninteresting to me.
Dude, I can talk about this all day.
Yeah, I know you can.
I know.
It's okay.
It's too bad that like it's wrapping up, man. But maybe I'll save it for another day.
Till next time.
I can talk about this. Oh, man, I got so much shit to say, but whatever.
I do a solo podcast, and then I don't want to talk about it.
Dude, okay. Honestly, I was working on that, man. I wrote down notes, like statistics, and like I'm trying to be like more collected because like because Jordan Peterson, he was saying that like one of his
Like, I think it's funny that I tell you that, like, sperm rates could fall to 0 within the next 20 years, and you're just like, eh. But then it's like, wait, Fight Club's about toxic masculinity, and then you get really upset. I just think that's funny.
I was listening to you the whole time, man. Like, I was here. I hear you. I heard
the
you.
actual threat to men, like, we may all be infertile soon, is like, I don't really know. But it's
what
like...
What do you mean?
You said movie I don't like is toxic masculinity?
Anyways, to finish what I was saying... when Jordan Peterson made a speech at one of the college, he had a Q&A session, and one of the students came up and asked him, like, hey, like, how are you so good at articulating your thought? How are you able to, like, be as smart as you are and be as confident and be all this? He was saying that whenever
it's all the pillsy pops, right?
Well, he didn't say that technically. He didn't say that. No, this is before the pill popping. But he was saying that if you ever get into debate, or if you ever get into a situation where you have to talk about what you have to know about it more than an average person. You have to go out of your way and do all the research and do all that, because that's the only way you can actually articulate what you know. Because if you just learned algebra like yesterday, are you able to really talk about algebra to someone at an extensive length with like as much depth as someone that's been doing it for years? And like, that's why I want to focus on like relationship and like how men and women operate in the world, and like, that was the whole point of like me building this podcast. And this is kind of what I want to talk about, but I'm still growing as an individual. This is what I want to like get better at. So, to answer your question.
So what I heard is you like to start up conversations or talk about things because you want to learn more about it. Because situations like this where there's a chemical out there that is like making men infertile. Like this is like I'm listening to you, dude. It's not like I like disregarded what you said. It's not like I was joking, but when you first heard it, you instinctively jump to a reaction like, hey, this is kind of like, are you serious? But like, I passed that. I heard you out.
It just seems like you're more interested in other things than that.
I mean, there's just so many things to talk about. That's all it is.
It's okay. Like I said, maybe we deserve to be cold. Maybe we're just all like
it's okay to
animals.
cry, Andrew. Yeah. It's okay.
Maybe the elites are right. Maybe we just deserve to be wiped down to like 500 million people.
I mean, have they ever been wrong?
No,
yeah, exactly. They're elite for a reason. You should listen to them. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, they've been right about a lot of things, but they've been wrong about a lot of things. So.
Well, I mean, they're only humans.
Yeah.
By the end of the day.
Are they, though?
No. No, they're not. I can save that for another day, or you want to hear it now?
Whatever you want to do, it's your podcast.
One more thing before we wrap it up, right? So, when I wanted to talk about feminism and how it failed in modern day, I'll say that for another day. But one of the point that I wanted to say is like whenever women compare men and women, they look at the top 3%, top 1% of all men, like the one that makes all the money, and they think that all men are at that level. No, we're not. We're just average people. We're not those rich guys are not a representation of all men. All men are like you and me. We're just average people. And they think that like, oh, men make more money than we do and all this stuff. And yeah, I'll say that for another topic. I'll go into it, but
like their sample size is the minority rather than
they say
like
that like the top men make so much more money than women, but that they're looking at them. They're not even like they're not average men like us. They're like a totally different species, I guess. That's kind of the way I would like to say it. And they use that as an example or as an image to represent men, and that's not the case. All right.
I think people do that with race as well.
How so?
Like, they're like, I'm not racist people, but then they're like, but Asian people, like, how are you not good at math? And it's like, well, not all Asian people are good.
That's toxic.
But they're looking at the top percentage of like, who's mostly in Harvard, who's mostly in these nice colleges, who's in the STEM fields, who's doing all
then again,
the math-related things. It's like, not me.
But the thing is, like, some stereotype comes from a small fraction of truth, right? So when it comes to women, Asian women make more money than the rest of the other races. I didn't make this up. They made it like significantly more than like Latino, black, and white.
Yeah, but again, that statistic comes from looking at like the top percent of people who are there,
right?
Not like
average.
You're an Asian woman. Why aren't you making more money?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you not?
And it's like, well,
yeah.
Why do you assume?
Exactly. Yeah. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. You can't. It's easy to generalize, but you really shouldn't.
Right. Exactly.
Because we're all people. We all are the same at the end of the day.
All right. I agree.
We all have low sperm counts.
I feel like this got off the rails pretty quickly.
Really? Did it?
I feel like we sort of
been.
been all over the place.
I mean, that's how it is, man. I mean,
Yeah, it'd be like that. They don't think it'd be like that, but it do.
Sometimes I can't carry a single topic for longer than like 2 minutes. You know.
Maybe next time we can all talk about masculinity and
We could.
feminism for like 2 hours.
I'm
Chainsaw
down.
Man?
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Those hit up all those topics pretty well.
Is
Ooh.
Chainsaw Man about toxic masculinity?
No.
Could be.
No, I don't think so. I don't. Think
You don't
so.
think Aki? is a
No,
little
Aki's cool,
toxic?
bro. He's cool as hell.
Yeah, but then he had that girl that's like, you gotta leave. Like, you can't be in this. You're gonna die. And he's like, I don't care.
I think
Isn't that a bit
that's
toxic,
his,
though?
That's his personal decision, though.
Yeah,
It's
and
not-
then eventually he was like, actually, I do care. And then he, like, wanted to leave.
Well, he didn't do it because, like, out of like his manhood. He did it because of his own personal decision. So that's different, right?
Or what about the master guy, Kashibe? The guy that trained them up and he's, like, killing them over and
Oh
over.
yeah. No.
He's like, oh, they're my toys.
Nah.
I think Denji is a toxic masculine. All he cares about is touching boobs,
The boobas.
and then having sex.
True.
No. That's not true. He,
then
he didn't
literally
talk about
his-
it, did he? He
and
just
then-
talked about boobs and that's it. He didn't talk about having
He
sex with
alluded to
Makima.
sex.
Yeah.
Because Makima's like, if you do this, I'll let you do anything. And he's
Ooh.
like, anything?
Anything?
I can have any wish? Even? And then he got cut off.
And then like, I mean, I guess major spoiler alert if you don't want to know what happens.
Okay.
at
No
the
one,
end.
no one cares about Chainsaw right
But
now.
No.
like-
Once the anime comes out, that's when
Yeah,
people.
that's when they'll come back to this podcast.
I mean,
and
that's
holy
not-
damn it.
crap.
But like towards the end, like his motivation becomes like, I could get a lot of girls. I could have 5 girls, 10 girlfriends. So he's definitely a toxic male.
Use his chainsaw
What?
powers to.
That's not
yep.
toxic.
Yeah, like all he can think about is sex.
Yeah, that's as men typically do.
All he cares about is touching boobs, and he uses violence to solve his problems. Did he ever think about sitting down with the demons and having a discussion?
No,
like
the
we
demons
right
are trying
now?
to kill him. What do you mean? He ain't
Did he
got
ever-
time for that.
Like he literally tortured the one demon until it killed itself. Did he ever think about like talking with the demon, maybe asking him about his problems, seeing how his day was going?
You would never have read that book.
Well,
if
first
it
off, they're
ended up
devils.
being like that.
Okay, let's get that fact
Yeah.
straight. They're
There's a
devils,
difference.
not demons.
There's a difference.
All right. There-
What's
there's
the
a
difference
You
between
need
a
to learn
devil
to
and a
read, bro.
demon?
You can make a contract with the devil. You can't make a contract with the demon. Okay.
Yeah. See, this
Big
guy
difference.
Excuse
Big
me.
difference.
This guy got a PhD in Chainsaw Man, so I give him credit for that.
Yeah, this isn't no demon slayer.
Yeah.
They're all demons. There's no contracts
Yeah.
involved.
Can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, devils,
Yeah.
different story, different laws.
But yeah, let's wrap it up for today, man. I appreciate both of you guys coming out. You know, it's been fun. I had a blast talking about like everything that we did. You know, and if you listen to the podcast up to this point, you know, wouldn't hurt to hit the like. You really like what I'm saying, hit the subscribe button as well. Yeah, you know, it's been fun. I want to say thank you to everybody. So
It's been my pleasure, Tony.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
been
love
a
to come
pleasure.
back sometime.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we're out. Peace.